Anime is for children and perverts. I know you like your little Chinese girl cartoons. And don't get me wrong, we have all appreciated some big anime titties from time to time. But it's time to move on. I have something better for you. Getting a job.
48 minutes of dogs barking. 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 Growl. Growl. 48 minutes of dogs barking. 48 minutes of dogs barking.
Yeah.
What's going on, mega fucker? What's going on? I'm drinking again.
Oh, man.
I'm angry.
Uh-oh. Yeah. Yeah. You got to get the can crack, otherwise it's not official. Yeah. Can check, Brian. What are you drinking on?
Four Hands No Bake.
Ah. That's the oatmeal and vanilla. It's a brown ale, yeah?
Or the brownest of the brown ales.
It is very brown.
It's very nice. It kind of reminds me of Breckenridge's like vanilla porter a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think is probably like the best vanilla porter if you're going to grab one.
Breckenridge makes a lot of good stuff. Mm-hmm. It's up there with Deschutes. Deschutes makes this great one. Just Mirror Pond. Really, that's a stout, though. It's not.
Yeah, but like brown ales kind of get... Obviously, there's a difference between a brown ale and a porter and a stout, but you can get some very similar profiles.
Another good profile locally here is Civil Life. That American Brown is... It's a classic.
Boy, I would choke out a homeless man on a subway for one of those. Oh, wait, yeah. Did that happen?
Let me...
Wait, is that a thing?
Yeah, apparently.
Wait, did the guy do it, not get arrested?
Yeah, apparently.
Wow, huh.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's weird.
Did he get his brown ale?
Probably at the precinct. Yeah, he probably got it.
God. What?
I think someone's comment was, he's not a cop, but, he's former military, and that's pretty much the same anyway, according to America. So.
Yeah. Well, it's always interesting how many former military actually fucking hate cops.
Yeah, you'd be really surprised.
Guys that, like, did their time on the fucking boat
or whatever
deployment.
Yeah,
and they're just like, yeah, like, I had to do real shit. Like, you just bully people around. Like, I had to do the real fucking arm of imperialism.
Right.
You just play at it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I don't know. It's like the weather's nice.
Yeah.
And it's not just some this fake friend bullshit we've had where it'll be like 79 or 85 degrees for like a day or two, and then it's back to like a high of 32. Mm-hmm. Like, it looks like this is going to stick around for at least a week.
I can hope so.
It's going to be fucking nice. I appreciate the low to mid 80s.
Yeah, I'll take it. It's not bad.
It's shorts weather, which is, I don't know, I got like a weird midsection, like lengthwise. So like jeans feel really constricting.
Oh.
So which is why I've gotten into the athleisure stuff.
See, I'm the opposite way. I got more legs than I do torso, so I got like jeans is just like it's comfortable. I wear.
I love shorts. It's kind of what I miss about my last job was I could just wear shorts every day and no one had anything to say because it's like, yeah, it's 100 degrees out. There's no air conditioning.
It's not that I don't like shorts. It's just that
you're just not legged up like me.
Well, I rode my bike. I mean, I had some. I got.
Man, you got damn. Yeah, you got some calves going though.
For those playing along at home, I did roll up my pants to show them my calves.
God, it looked like a fucking giant chickpea behind your knee.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is my kneecap. It's
the thing behind your calf.
Oh yeah,
it's like
it's weirdly beefy. I don't know.
God, what did you?
I'm flexing though, so that's
those implants.
No, sadly.
Did you get what fucking Steven Crowder got?
Oh wow! Oh man, may I never be in the same boat as that guy. Jesus Christ.
Seems like a bad scene.
My wife left me, changed my mind.
My wife left me, changed my mind. God.
I'm now looking at my leg, going, "Oh, is there something wrong there?"
Well, it's just like the thing is like my calf.
Yeah.
Kind of slowly.
There's a bit of a slope.
Slope.
Yeah.
Yours, like you got like a really skinny shaft,
and it just.
And then like right to like before you get to behind the kneecap, it's just like a fucking grapefruit. of just taunt hard muscle.
Now I'm gonna, because I'm watching House again, so now
Yeah.
I'm gonna start thinking like, okay, what kind of cancer do I have now?
God, is it lupus?
It's never lupus, except for that one episode where I was. Speaking of the finer things in life, Brian, have you ever gone to the opera?
Yeah, actually, Webster Groves has Webster Groves University actually has a nice opera program in the early summer. I've been to.
Okay.
A few. So, did you expect me to be like, no? What I like to do is throw a raccoon in a kiddie pool and watch it get out.
I was 50-50. I wasn't sure what the answer was going to be, but this is a segue into, of course, our first story of the week. The LA Times reporting the Los Angeles Philharmonic did a concert earlier last week. They're reporting hearing a woman letting out, quote, a loud, full-body orgasm during Tchaikovsky's Fifth Symphony. This in the Los Angeles Times. I mean, somebody went out and actually did some shoe leather reporting on it. A lady by the name of Christy Karras. A participant in the event is quoted as, I saw the girl after it happened, and I assumed that she had an orgasm because she was breathing heavily and her partner was smiling and looking at her like in an effort not to shame her. It was quite beautiful.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. Multiple people, this again, LA Times, multiple people who attended reported hearing a woman moaning. One attendee, composer and music producer Marcus Faines, described the sounds as that of having some full-body orgasm. The Times has since confirmed that the orchestra kept performing and that there were no further interruptions. Now, it gets weirder because apparently it's a debate as to what actually happened. One attendee who was seated in the row behind the person who made the noise said it appeared as if the woman was waking up from a sleep attack when she made the sound. This is a thing that sometimes happens with narcoleptics. They'll fall asleep and then wake up in a panic and make a noise. And so some of them are saying, oh, no, she was coming at the orchestra. And some are like, no, she just fell asleep and then panicked when she woke up. I've heard the sound, and I'm sure you have too. Yeah, she was nutting. I'm sorry. There's no question in my mind.
I see the argument for like the narcoleptic, the surprise reawakening. Like I don't think
to a point.
Yeah, but no, that woman was flicking her bean.
Mm-hmm. Well, the implication there is that someone was flicking it for her, and that was.
Or she could have had like one of those little things you put on your nethers, and maybe the boyfriend
had the remote.
The remote. Yeah,
he was sitting there just pressing that button, going.
Yeah, this is way more fun than that time I went to the farmer's market.
I got my butt plug in at the farmer's market. Yeah, so mystery abounds, but I guess we'll hear from the LA Times at some point whether they have a definitive answer or not. But was it coming? Was it narcolepsy? What do you think?
Why not both?
Yeah. Give us a call, 314-246-9766, if you have opinions on that. Here's another fun one, courtesy of the Daily Beast. Locals baffled as 500-plus pounds of cooked pasta found in the woods. Residents in a New Jersey town are looking for answers after a huge amount of cooked pasta was found dumped by a woodland stream. Veterans Park in Old Bridge, New Jersey, estimating that there must have been 500 pounds worth of food at the dump site. The former city council candidate who described the oddity as Mission Impossible said the town's public works department cleaned up the mess after she posted her images online. Parks department got in there, cleaned it all up. So if you're looking for free pasta in New Jersey, it's no longer there. That's weird.
God, the smell must have been weird.
Yeah, because that can't have been fresh. Like it's not like she walked up and touched it and it was hot or something.
Right. It was cooked, but who knows how long it was sitting there.
Because the picture she posted, it looks kind of brown, and unless it was wheat pasta, that ain't fresh. It's just weird stuff going on. The other weird thing, of course, our good friends over at Pornhub. Pornhub has officially blocked all IP addresses registered to the state of Utah. That is in response to a new law restricting porn access in Utah. If you go to Pornhub and you're on an IP that is in Utah, you get a video message.
Hi, I'm Shree DeVille. As you may know, your elected officials have required us to verify your age before granting you access to our website.
The people at Pornhub are saying, well, your state blocked us, so we're blocking you. It does not give you instructions.
Oh, is that tit for tat?
Hey!
Oh.
I would imagine so, yes. But there's similar language happening in a lot of different bills. There's one in Louisiana, I think, and there's a couple other places where they're just like, you got to prove your age to go on and see any pornos. Right. That nightmare thing of like having to register your name with the government and be like, yes, writing out an affidavit that like, yes, I am going to visit porno on this day and this day. Like,
on this day, I'm going to jack off with the right hand. This day, I'm going to jack off with the left.
you are free to watch my webcam if you have any questions about my jack off style. Yeah, it's just very odd. Apparently the group behind Pornhub, it's MindGeek, so they own, let's see, Brazzers, YouPorn, PornMD, Model Hub, Nokatu, Men.com, Mofos, My Dirty Hobby, and several others. All of those sites in Utah are blocked. So if you're living in the state of Utah, it's time to hit up the old red tube, I guess. But
or if you really want to go into the lowest depths, like 8tube or X Hamster
or Motherless or Spank Bang. Yeah.
I thought Motherless is that site that people all know about, but try to agree that it doesn't exist. Like no one ever wants to mention they know what Motherless is.
Yeah, it's
like I feel like really dirty that like we both
recognize.
Yeah.
Well, it's like knowing what eFucked is, I guess, in a way. Like
I don't know. eFucked is like feels a little more old school.
And it's definitely way more funny.
Motherless feels like a violation of privacy.
There is
like
that,
just from front to back. Like it feels as no, sir.
I know nothing about anything.
What's this?
Allegedly, yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm too busy jerking off to analog pornography. See, you know what? Lyle is right. When the power goes out, who holds all the cards?
That's right. The man with the spank mags. It was Jeffrey Ross did a stand-up bit, and I haven't seen him do stand-up in decades, but the one I do remember is Barely Legal. That should be Barely Weekly. How long does it take, guys? Come on. One of my favorite movies last year was Dune Part 1.
Well, it was 2 years ago.
Was it 2 years ago?
It was 2021, late 2021.
It sure was. Okay, well, one of my favorite movies that I saw last year was Dune Part 1. Dune Part 2 has just been officially announced, so that's really good. But the funniest part is, in a Games Radar interview with Dennis Devenue, he's asked the question, who did you contact first to tell them the good news about Part 2, like of the cast? And his answer is, well, definitely it was Timothy. I spent a year with Timothy where he was saying to me, can I get a little bit of the Muad'Dib here? I said, no, Timothy, you're not Muad'Dib yet. I spent a year saying to him, relax, man, it's for Part 2. So I just wrote him a text saying, Muad'Dib time.
That actually fucking rules.
Yeah. Like, imagine you get a text from anyone saying Muad'Dib time. Like, all right. So I have something tells me like that's on the horizon, is like that's gonna be a meme. We're gonna start hearing about Muad'Dib time again.
I'm the Muad'Dib bitch.
Oh no! Oh, it's gonna be remixed for sure.
Yeah,
they're gonna hear a lot about Muad'Dib time.
I enjoyed Dune.
Oh yeah, it was a good one.
Dune 2 will probably be good.
Here's hoping. Well, I guess it's time for Crypto Scam of the Week,
sure,
Brian.
Fuck knows.
You're listening to 48 Minutes of Dogs Barking, the podcast.
And now it's time for the Crypto Scam of the Week.
I know what you're going. I kind of felt like I knew what you were going to talk about before I sat down today, because it's like the only thing that isn't like the standard, like FTX trying to do this.
Oh yeah.
Or FTX trying to claw back billions from Genesis Voyager and.
Well, I mean, I could have gone into, Nate Chastain of OpenSea or any of that stuff, but like this one is the funniest one to me because I got caught up in this particular hype as well. I'm talking about Wall Street Bets. Now, a quick primer for those of you who may not have been really paying that close of attention. Wall Street Bets was a thing on Reddit where people were trying to do these like insane buys and like make crazy money.
Meme stock.
But yeah, it's where we got the GameStop and AMC.
And Bed Bath Beyond, AMC.
Nokia.
Yeah.
A couple of those ones. So that was a whole thing, and people who, got bought stocks and held on to them diamond hands. A lot of those things wound up transferring over to the crypto space as well. Mm-hmm. So it seemed natural that someone would come up with a Wall Street Bets crypto token.
Right. And to be fair, this isn't the first one.
No.
This is the first one that actually kind of ran. Most of the Wall Street Bet stuff I've ever seen has been like on Binance Smart Chain.
Right.
And does like one pump and it's done, and that pump can take as long as a day or it might be an hour. So this was interesting because it took, 2 days?
Yeah. White paper says it's the fairest launch meme coin you'll find with no team allocation and no pre-sale. Bullshit. Just a free airdrop and coins for the community. 10% is reserved as a treasury. Token launched on the 1st and May 3rd. Token lost 90% of its value as one of the token creators dumped, trading them for 334 ETH, which at the time was 635,000 US dollars.
Yes, I believe it was one individual that had 5% of supply and either didn't realize that he could dump his holdings without tanking the price or didn't care. Love to see fucking degenerates fucking dumping on each other.
So that admin's excuse, by the way, was that another creator, WSB Mod, was secretly draining the token by creating huge airdrops and then claiming them for himself. Of course, WSB Mod says the other guy was a thief and threatened to involve the police and the FBI. Yes, FBI, come arrest this guy. He is stealing my made-up bullshit. So Zach XBT, of course, the master sleuth behind a lot of these investigations, was on the case. Apparently there is a multi-sig wallet that's out there. They're trying to get the funds returned, but so far, not so great. And if you look at this graph that Zach XBT posted, it's just up and then straight down. And yeah, it was 2 days. It was May the 2nd to May the 4th. Just nothing. Jesus.
That is a sad-looking chart.
It really is.
And it's on the 15, it looks like that.
Yeah.
Like on the hourly, I bet that just looks fucking miserable.
Yeah. Zach XBT posting on Twitter, another day, another meme coin rug, this time involving ZJZ.ETH from WSB Coin Official, who suddenly dumped a large portion of the WSB team supply, again for 334 ETH. In November 22, he messaged me, I guess we should have been greedy, amoral bastards instead. Well, it looks like he took his own advice. Why would you message Zach XBT and then go
and do the thing?
do a rug pull? Like, you
Amazing.
realize you just literally handed this guy, proof, right in your. Jesus. Some people, man, they just don't. They'll never learn. And this can't be the first time that this has happened to this guy. Because this feels like, Zach XBT being who he is and being well known.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's in contact with a lot of people who are like, haha, yeah, I'm fucking up with the money.
Actually, there's been a few times where like people he's written about, same thing with CoffeeZilla, have like antagonized or been, aggressive towards him, and he's just like, you sure you want to do that, Chief?
Right. And all of this because, again, it all started with, this what the plan in Wall Street Bets was that they were going to pump up the price of GameStop and then force these venture capital or whatever firms into a short squeeze, which was going to net them X amount of money and also hurt the big guys, Which
I did think happened at least one or two.
To a degree, not nearly to the point that Wall Street Bets wanted, but yeah, I mean, there were a couple of times where it definitely it hit him at a certain point, and there was a bit of contention too, because like Robinhood being a more of a retail trading platform where you can also buy crypto, they stopped allowing you to buy GameStop at a certain point.
Same thing with Doge. Because after Wall Street Bets and Doge ran, and then that kind of, as far as how I look at things, kind of really started a lot of the run-ups we saw with meme coins like Doge and SHIB and a couple others in 2021.
And so the fact that someone who may have gotten burned by the GameStop fever in Wall Street Bets is going to then buy into the meme coin thing is like, have you learned nothing?
Yeah, no shit.
Because I learned my lesson. I only lost like $30. It's just, It's so baffling to me. Like, I get it. I understand what's happening is that it's the classic American huckster thing of the allure of the quick buck. Everybody wants to make the quick buck. That's why we got Bernie Madoff. That's why we got Ponzi's in general. And that's
Savings
why we got
and loans and
all that stuff. Anytime there's like, oh, you can make X amount of money, Forex stuff, when people get fleeced on Forex or whatever it is, it's just like, oh, it's the allure of the easy money. And it is never fucking true. Like, at least for people
not everyone is going to be that person that spent $700 on SHIB and turned it into $3 million. Or more recently, there is a meme coin which is Pepe, which is, I think, almost at a $1 billion valuation, and it's a 2-week-old coin. And when I first saw people tweeting about it, I think market cap was like under 50 mil. And I was like looking at like, that looks pumped. I like looked at the chart, like that looks like that's about to crater. And then it continued to keep, fucking going. But there was, everyone's the mythology around that coin is that there was someone that spent $200 near launch and now have $2 million worth of fucking Pepe coin.
Yeah, but they can't sell it.
Right. I don't know what the liquidity is on that token because I haven't studied it, but it's probably not great. It's probably
it's just money on a ledger. You don't actually have that money. That's
right. Well, I mean, like you can sell it for Ethereum and then put that on Coinbase or Binance or whatever and transfer that to your account. But
I guess,
but I mean, the whole issue is that there was a guy, I think he goes by Joe Grower or something on the socials and in crypto space, who did a similar thing with a meme coin called Tuska, TSUKA. And I think he's like the number one holder, and like at one point had like 1.5 or 1.7 million dollars worth of this token. But the problem is liquidity was only, I don't know, 300K or something.
Right.
So like he couldn't ever sell a meaningful amount.
Yeah, there's nothing. You can't do anything with it.
Yeah. He could theoretically sell for that 300K and kill the token. I mean, you got to think about like the other people there, and do you really want to be that asshole?
Right.
And most people that find themselves in that position, like this Joe Grower guy, like don't really want to be. Like it doesn't seem like a good thing to do. Like
I can't blame him on that one. That seems like it's like because you know the scene and you know that like if you do this, you're going to leave X amount of people bag holding.
Yeah, you're going to fuck over a bunch of strangers and cause a bunch of suffering. Or you can just like kind of swallow your pride and sell down your greed and just be like, well, I guess if I need 10 grand, I can pull 10 grand out. But
it's one of those things where it's like, okay, you have this, but you can't do anything with it.
Yeah.
I guess that's a lot of crypto stuff, but in particular, like the smaller coins, like, okay, now what? Is really the question you should be asking. Now what?
Market cap and liquidity are kind of two different things.
Very, very different.
Yeah. I mean, there's tokens out there that have the difference between market cap and liquidity is actually really fair and healthy. That also means bigger buys have lesser changes on the price. But then like, that's like the whole fucking shitcoin casino thing is someone starting, they put one BNB is starting liquidity, and then after a couple buys, they burn the liquidity. So then it becomes a real fucking casino, and and you try to fucking 2 or 3x before the person that was in before you decides to fucking stomp you all. It's a fucking wild thing to watch happen.
Yeah, like I said, that graph we just looked at, I'm like, Jesus fuck, all the way up. And then all the way down, like it's the arch.
And it had like it had like a nice little retrace, and it's usually that retrace is when it goes to fucking zero. But it ran for another all-time high, and then did a retrace and kind of looked like it was about to go again, and done. Yeah.
I hate to see people getting fleeced, but I also
the Schadenfreude.
The Schadenfreude is real. Yeah, it's delicious, but yeah, it comes with a real human cost. So I definitely, it's a conflicting feeling. In another life, that could have been me. I could have just lost everything on shithead coin or whatever it is. It just
stuck stepsister, which was one.
There was
SSS.
Yeah.
God.
And Lana Rhodes, her stepsister coin. It was a different one. I think we covered the Lana Rhodes one.
I think so too. Yeah.
Well, Brian, today's main topic is something that very few people actually really remember anymore, and I like those. I like the ones where I can kind of remind people of the internet of yore, the days gone by, as it were. This was a gaming website.
Wow, when those still existed, and they weren't owned by, fucking GlaxoSmithKline or some shit.
Yeah, the Halliburton era of owning gaming websites. Yeah, so around the same time as some other sites like, I don't know.
Something Awful.
Right.
I mean, IGN was still kind of in its infancy.
Yeah. Here, Stomped, Evil Avatar, Blues News, just a Game Spy.
Game Spy.
Yeah. That was before they decided to become a gaming platform. This was when they actually had Games Planet. That was the ones where they had different planets for all the different popular games.
They had File Planet.
Yeah. And so this was kind of the antidote to that. Old Man Murray was the product of two guys. Chet Falsick and Eric Wolpaw were, just a bunch of loudmouths, I guess, is the only real way to put it.
Sure.
They would eventually get hired by Valve, so that was fun. People claim that Chet and Eric had something to do with Gamergate, which I find fascinating because, they had a lot in common as far as their sense of humor was with things like 4chan, Something Awful. They really, Sean Baby, a couple of those other Portal of Evil sites that were around at the time. Old Man Murray was among them. They made jokes about, ironic Nazi humor, or, they would create a flashing web page to trigger epileptics who are reading the site, or they introduce themselves as, I'm Chet and this is my partner and for life N-word Eric. So
as very early aughts internet humor.
Yeah. In 99, when Stevie Case, the famous cyber athlete, would be appearing in Playboy, Eric would say, since Stevie's obviously aware that Playboy is primarily a masturbation tool for men, I hope she won't feel any less empowered when I respectfully request she include a few shots of her ass, and if she could make sure that her ass is glistening with sweat or water from a hose, that would be great. So Kotaku covered them and called them, willful, ironic troglodytes, which is very odd, but yeah. So it was an offshoot, like I mentioned, of Portal of Evil, which is a shock site.
Yeah.
They even had custom email. I remember I had a Portal of Evil email. I had some name at youeatpoopy.com, which was not a real website, but it was a Portal of Evil email address. That, God, they had so many pages on the Portal of Evil, but the bit about them starting Old Man Murray was they were annoyed at Unreal Tournament, or it was Unreal Tournament when the first Unreal Tournament came out.
Yeah.
And it really only lasted for about 4 years.
Yeah, it was pretty short.
98 is when they first posted a review, and that was for the infamously bad Jurassic Park game Trespasser. I think that was what really caught my attention, first of all, was because it was one of those games where the hype was very real. You know what I mean? Like, people were very heavily invested in Trespasser. Trespasser's whole deal was that everything is in first person. Mm-hmm. So all the physics objects could be moved by the first person. And your health icon, because you played a woman in this game, was a tattoo on your boob that showed when your health was going.
It was a heart tattoo.
Yeah. And like all the guns were like weirdly handled. Yeah, do all this stuff in first person.
Do this weird wrist shit. And so I've watched a couple Let's Plays of Trespasser, and people like found out really weird ways to like physics block like the raptors, and then twisting the wrist in an unrealistic fashion, and just kind of like point blank like hug shooting. Yeah, there's a really great Let's Play out there. Those from Something Awful Goon. I forget the name of the guy, but it is worth your time to watch someone who has mastered a completely shitty, broken game. But yeah, that I think is probably one of the most ambitious failures of the late 90s.
Yeah, and
next to Daikatana, maybe?
Probably, yeah. I think I would put those two together, and I think they really savaged Daikatana as well, as everyone did at a certain point. But I mean, they reviewed things like Kiss, Psycho Circus, and like things. God, No One Lives Forever, which was a spy-themed first-person shooter. You remember this one?
Now watch out, man. That is oddly enough a very beloved.
Monolith Games, the Lithtech engine, it still looks good. I wish it was playable on more modern hardware. I know GOG has done some efforts to try to get it there, but yeah, I mean,
I think the license is all funky.
Here's from their review of it. Don't get us wrong. Jason Hall, which is the lead game designer, could invent a photo of Jennifer Love Hewitt's tits that converts dirt into $100 bills, and it still wouldn't make up for the Blood 2 mission pack. But No One Lives Forever puts him closer to the key to the chest containing the map of our scabby black hearts than he's ever been. Sure, we could talk about the game's great eye, its innovative camera work, and its actually funny dialogue or all its bright colors, but what's the point? The internet's lousy with good reviews of No One Lives Forever. We just want to act as independent verification that they're all absolutely correct. If you trust us, you'll buy it. If not, fuck you anyway. And I felt that's kind of the reigning ethos on the site. They talked about American McGee's Alice.
Oh, you mean American McGee, the mind behind Bad Day L.A.
And Gunman Chronicle. Oh wait, no, that was not him. But yeah.
It's amazing. Wasn't he like a fucking tester on like Doom or Quake or something? And somehow
they would do these posts about getting rich quick, co-written by the other Portal of Evil site. I did mention it last week during Steve Don't Eat It. Bad Candy, a guy named Mark who did all the reviews over at Bad Candy, but they did an entire series of articles about getting rich quick and all this stuff. But just they really feel like gaming's version of Buddyhead. If you remember some of these old reviews and how they're like really acerbic and they really just kind of like were fuck you and all that, like they really were shitheads in a way that resonated with people.
Yeah, it's a lot less abrasive than like say Jeff K.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Oh, they also were in league with another minor internet celeb at the time, Sean Baby. Sean Baby did a couple of columns there. Sean Baby, of course, has moved on to 1-900 Hot Dog. You're familiar with that website? Well, he worked for Cracked, and then a bunch of the Cracked guys went on and did 1-900 Hot Dog with Jason Pargin and Dan Brockaway and a couple of those guys.
Okay.
But yeah, Sean Baby kind of started as his own thing, and all these Portal of Evil guys kind of knew each other. Some of their humor bled over too into like Sean Baby articles. Some would look like an Old Man Murray article, or vice versa, or like there would be somebody from Fat Chicks in Party Hats would show up on an Old Man Murray article and like write a paragraph or something like that. They all kind of knew each other. It was a strange place to be because like they didn't update very often, but when they did, you knew it was going to be something funny, and you knew you were probably going to have to like read it 2 or 3 times to really get it all. Just excellent writers. When they stopped updating the site right around 2002, shit went wild on the internet. You had Gamergate, and you had all these other weird gaming-related kind of...
The chick from Ubisoft.
Jade Raymond. Yeah, talking about Assassin's Creed and all that, yeah. Yeah,
she's like a fucking fitness influencer now, which is such a...
Well, I mean, she definitely looked the part when she was working.
Yeah, but this is like a weird... forget like what culture or something. I remember seeing like something they did like about weird controversies, and that was one of them. And I was like, I wonder what she's up to. And like, yeah, she's like a fitness guru. And like, all right.
They created one of my favorite things to notice in games, and they created something called the start to crate measurement.
Mm-hmm. Very important metric.
It measures the length of time from when you begin a video game to when you see your first crate. Whether the crate be simply background or if it holds ammo and whatever. Old Man Murray was so influential that even Gabe Newell from Valve did reference them when talking about Half-Life 2. He goes, yeah, we wanted to just get it out of the way. We put a crate right at the beginning of the game. Not even going to worry about it. They did, a number of things that were influential, but not the least of which were some of these really weird reviews that really didn't talk about the game at all and just kind of danced around it. There was a review of, let's see here, Castle Wolfenstein. They merged it into a 12 Days of Christmas piece as well. Castle Wolfenstein was just kind of an odd sequel. It had what they compared to a Rob Zombie guy in this Gray Matter took the game away from id Software and kind of did their own thing with it. It wouldn't be many years later till Machine Games got a hold of it and actually did a proper sequel. Yeah. Here it is. This is the latest solid piece of information I can find about Germany, though there was a brief Germany craze during the 30s and 40s. Thanks to Adolf Hitler's rise to power and the massive jet-fueled knuckle sandwich we subsequently dealt to him, once the Nazis were gone, people lost interest pretty quickly. What's Germany like today? Do its tiny, chattering brown natives still make a lot of yarn? Nobody knows, but luckily nobody cares. And that was the opening of an article about a Wolfenstein game.
I didn't read Old Man Murray growing up. I had friends that did.
Yeah.
But this was, the sort of thing that, we talk about at the lunch table.
Yeah.
Or someone would even go as far as bringing a printout so we can all collectively gaggle at it.
Is it news? Is it parody? Because you really didn't know what to make of it from one article to the next. Sometimes it would be a fairly straight review, like when they reviewed Rune. But then the other, like Chet reviewed Rune and said one thing about it. And then Eric rebutted that Rune review. I was like, no, actually, this game sucks. So not even the people who wrote for the site could agree like what was real and what was true. It's just.
So what are these two pricks doing now?
Well, they did go on to hang out with Gabe Newell and eventually got a gig writing for Porthole. Eric Wolpaw was a writer for Tim Schafer's Psychonauts, a project that won a Game Developer's Choice.
A game I have never played and never will.
Really?
I heard the platforming is dog shit.
Oh, okay.
It has not aged well.
Okay.
And the Psychonauts 2 is unfortunately not much better in that respect, even though people will say the story is great.
Yeah. Oh, the other big thing was that they kept harping on Roberta Williams. You remember who Roberta Williams was? She created King's Quest, the adventure game.
Oh, yeah.
And so they had a fucking crusade against Roberta Williams. I don't understand why, and I can't even remember what the beef was about. I think it was like about Police Story or Police Squad 4 that they hated. And so they would go to events where Roberta Williams was signing King's Quest stuff and like have her sign something and say, yeah, can you put suck my dick on it? Just an outright weird harassment campaign against this woman who did nothing but make adventure games. It was a very odd personal beef.
Yeah. I mean, King's Quest did get very trite at one point.
Oh, once you got to King's Quest 4, yeah, definitely. Yeah. The Escapist, Seamus Young, wrote this piece for Old Man Murray. This was in 2011 when, at the time, Old Man Murray got removed from Wikipedia because it was, quote, not notable enough, which was a thing, you know. Wikipedia claims Old Man Murray was removed because it's not notable, so I'm going to write some notes about it, thus checkmating the soulless robo-brain that runs Wikipedia. Old Man Murray was a video game website, yada, yada, yada. The point is, it was the first funny site about video games. Keep in mind, we're talking about the late 90s. A lot of gaming sites were either spin-offs or imitators of print media, and they tended to take a slightly cynical Consumer Reports approach to views. OMM was the first major site that seemed to need to understand the need to look at reviews as entertainment and not consumer advice.
Sure.
Seamus, continuing, the reason the site resonated with people wasn't because of its zealous anti-Nazi, anti-robot, anti-Roberta Williams stance. It was because the site closely reflected what games looked like to people who were subjected to games. A journalist might have a footnote in their review that the puzzles in this game are counterintuitive, while at OMM they would write a 3-page deconstruction of the game that was so savage and so complete we can be sure Roberta Williams has never read it because she's still alive. The article in question is, of course, called Death of Adventure Games. The question is, who killed adventure games? And they, of course, lay that at the feet of Roberta Williams. Seamus, continuing, reading OMM was a revelation for me. I wasn't the only person who hated stupid things that game designers kept doing. I wasn't the only person who thought that video games had fully explored the possibilities of the crate motif about 8 seconds after they began. There were gamers out there like me who vomited themselves into dehydration at the thought of playing another damnable sewer level. That was another of their many bugbears, but yeah.
The sewer level is still a problem.
Still a problem, yes.
Yeah.
Here is some more non-troll history for your enjoyment. Chet is one of the people behind Left 4 Dead, and Eric did the writing for Portal. Let me say that again, with periods in between for those of you who go to public school. Eric wrote Portal. It's like when a reviewer eviscerates a game and some fanboy comes along with, oh yeah, I'd like to see you better, and then he does, which is exactly my point about Eric and Portal, because, wow, I don't think really Portal...
Oh, the cake is a lie!
Yeah, okay, memes aside.
Yeah.
Memes aside.
My companion cube cock ring vibrates pleasurably at this news.
Okay. Again, memes and overused gags aside.
Wow, this cake is sure moist and tasty.
Still a good game.
You don't remember the fucking terrible webcomic?
I do.
Okay.
It was what was it? Girls and Gamers.
Yeah.
And how can I tell if there's gamers at this party? Yeah, it's bad. It's somebody in the Something Awful forums posts it like every month or so as a joke in the political cartoons thread. So I've seen it so many times.
I still remember someone getting the companion cube like on their calf, a massive tattoo. When Portal came out, and I was like, never going to get a video game tattoo, I think that's pretty safe.
I know some people with some pretty decent looking Zelda ones that have like the Hyrule crest on them, but that's, if you don't know it's from Zelda, I guess it's just like, oh, that's pretty.
That's nice, yeah.
The companion cube and the cake being a lie definitely were overused as far as memes go, but at the same time, the game itself is still pretty funny. I went back and played it last year, and I had a blast.
I can't remember the last time I played through Portal, but I do remember enjoying it quite a bit. What I did was, when Orange Box came out...
Oh, yeah. Nigh upon many years ago.
Yeah, jeez. I think I played episode 2, and I finished that, and then I played Portal in the same day. And I was like, wow, this is it. And I kind of really think, like, yeah, that was like the peak of me enjoying video games with Team Fortress 2, Portal, and Half-Life 2 Episode 2. Like, it's kind of been diminishing returns. Every once in a while, there's something like an Elden Ring or Left 4 Dead 2, or even the original Left 4 Dead for that matter. Yeah, like, that was kind of the peak.
It definitely, I mean, Valve in their heyday was definitely the heavy hitters. I mean, they could do no wrong. They would put something out and you just go, yeah, I'm going to buy it. It's a fucking Valve game. What are you talking about? It's like how Atlas used to be for me, but it's the same thing. They started putting out more and more stuff, and it's kind of like,
well, Valve doesn't really put out anything anymore. They just make their fucking
Dota.
Steam dollars. Dota and
hats for TF2.
Hats for TF2, the hat economy. And I mean, they did come out with Half-Life Alyx, which I heard is actually pretty fun.
But you need the VR headset to play it. Yeah. It's like you're going to intentionally exclude more than half of your existing fan base for VR, which I'm not sold on it. I mean, there's X millions of units out there, and there's all these different things. I'm still not sold on it. Every time I put one on, I feel nauseous.
Yeah, I know someone that had the PlayStation VR. I never put it on, but he said it was great, and everyone else who tried it said it was great. I just never fucked with it.
I mean, more power to them. They got $500 more than me, but
yeah,
like, I can build a new computer for that. So no, not going to do it. At a certain point, it's like it's on principle. I don't know. I'm so anti VR. I don't know. I think it's because I had such a shitty experience at Union Station in the 90s.
Oh wow! I was wondering when we were going to get to that.
With the giant headset on and trying to chase the pterodactyl around. Terrible. VR was bad, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, or like because you'd be in like that little thing, and you would like had the traction on the ground, so you could walk, and
awful. Well, the only thing funnier than their game reviews on Old Memory was their post 9/11 coverage.
Yeah,
they have a 4-page article called "America Under Attack." It's about 2 weeks after 9/11. Let's see here. It's actually the 28th of September. Where they take a shit on every one of their competitors, including IGN. Let's see here. If nothing else, we've always been the most pro-America game site on the internet. Before it was popular to be a patriot, when Blues News was promoting its thinly disguised socialist agenda, We stood alone firm in our support for this great nation. Each time something awful or Voodoo Extreme posted another one of their poisonous anti-American screeds, we opposed it. Because they often misspelled America, and not in a meaningful way, such as America with the 3 Ks, but with things like extra R's. Here's an ugly excerpt from IGN's pre-9/11 review of emergency response firefighters. Firemen, ha! What a stupid idea for a game. The only 2 groups who give a crap about firemen are designers of gay interest calendars and people whose houses are on fire. This is, of course, not an actual quote from IGN. It's just Eric and Chet expressing themselves through the medium of extreme sarcasm, including Calvin pissing on a sign that says terrorists. His plan, by the way, Eric's grand plan, was to create a league in NHL 2002 to beat an Arab Muslim country and humiliate them in a video game. And so the next 2 pages are what he calls Operation Infinite Goals. He picked the hockey team of Kazakhstan. It's brilliant. I suggest you read it. It is still up. Unlike a lot of the sites that we cover on the show, It is still there, oldmanmurray.com. That's Murray with 2 R's. It's worth reading through just for the 9/11 article alone, but there's so many things in there that are just gems. If you can handle some salty language, which if you're listening to this show, I sincerely fucking hope so, but
Yes.
if you can handle some salty language, I think you'll find a lot to enjoy there. Can't recommend it enough. And if you haven't played Portal, obviously, you should do that as well as Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2 are still amazing. I wish Back 4 Blood was actually good. Mm-hmm. That was a huge disappointment when I played that Game Pass. I was like, oh, this is kind of like Left 4 Dead, but without any of the good stuff.
Yeah, that's the impression I definitely got, because a lot of people were saying, oh, this feels like it should have been a Left 4 Dead game. But no, I never played that. I played Dead Before Dawn, or Dead Before Daylight, or whatever
Right, which is different.
Very different, yeah. I was trying to remember which one of those I played, and I realized it's the other one. Yeah, Left 4 Dead. What a weird touchstone that was.
I played so much Left 4 Dead 1 and 2. Like, there are people I played Left 4 Dead with, and only Left 4 Dead with, that are still on my Steam friends list and have not contacted them in any way for probably like 13 years.
But they're there in case you need them.
Just in case I'm like, hey, you guys want to listen to me scream and voice chat because the fucking liquor got me or whatever.
Yeah.
The smoker, I'm sorry. The fucking always hate getting fucking smokers off a goddamn ladder. And they'd be like, fucking shut up!
Right.
I'm like, ah! Ah!
You're the one screaming into the mic on that.
Oh,
one.
yeah, I was the guy whining like a fucking stuck pig.
I guess it's time for Shock.jpg.
Okay, let's show me the gross shit.
And now, the moment you've all been waiting for.
Shock.jpg.
Okay.
Show me what you've got.
This one's called Man Has Terrible Jump Off Ledge.
Is it like a rope swing accident?
No, this is a gentleman trying to dive off a bridge. Mm-hmm. This is part of the Shock site Run the Gauntlet. So
looks like
it is described as
Chong from Cheech and Chong.
Well, it's also the blurriest video you've ever seen. You can barely make out what happens here, but yes, he is cliff diving into a harbor, and he misses the dive.
Oh.
So they first show you the dive itself, which it doesn't really look like he got hurt, but then you see him floating face down in the water and blood's everywhere. Then it fades to black.
Yeah.
And then you see what looks like a fucking alien autopsy. It is...
That head is... Boy,
Yeah.
he's never going to be the head of a major corporation.
Yeah, so they're trying to put his face back together. His nose gone. His face is literally split up the middle.
Dave's not here, man.
Oh, you can see his teeth. It's horrific. Yeah, so this was apparently in Beirut that this happened. As a let's see, 2009. So he jumped off a crate. He hit his head on a box before plunging into the ocean. A rescue team, of course, goes out to find him. It cuts to the footage. He died 2 days later.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
wow. Okay. Congrats, Jason. You got me.
Yeah, I mean, if pulling a screwdriver backwards out of your penis wasn't enough,
That by comparison had whimsy.
yeah, and it's partially too because we knew the guy. Yeah,
we know. I chat with him.
I follow him on TikTok.
I show him my mason jar collection. He's like, "Oh, that one's very nice."
You send that one to me.
Can you autograph it with your ass?
It's a little, yeah. Anyway, he puts a little ink around
like
it.
wet dog.
It's the only way to deal with seeing something that grotesque.
Oh, that is,
yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that guy. Yeah.
I mean,
he died. Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
What kind of? I mean, they were like trying. They were pushing his face back together.
Yeah.
Like someone was trying to put together back a piñata.
Yeah.
And there was this sense of elasticity. Like,
yes.
Like, I mean, there was like a void where his face used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right there. All right there. Fucking style project.
Yeah. That was Run the Gauntlet was the host of that one.
Aptly titled.
Yeah. Well,
Shock site.
That was one of many. And to have said you ran the gauntlet, I think there was like 2 more after that. But that one was pretty close to the end.
Ooh.
Yeah. Just harsh.
Yeah.
God. Some stuff that you can see on these things, like a guy fisting another man's prolapse. I'm like, well, it's fine. Have fun.
It's consenting adults.
And again,
but that man's face did not consent to that ledge.
No, he did not.
No.
Mm-mm.
He did not make room for Jesus. Well, I guess when Jesus came to take his soul to heaven,
just right up the face. Yeah.
Do you think in heaven does he have the fucking Jawa face?
They had to sew him back together so he looks like a Hellraiser.
I have so many places to show you.
Don't go fucking cliff diving in Beirut. I fucking tell you what.
I tell you what, man. Fucking looks like you can make it, but you fucking can't. Why is he talking like some guy who works in sanitation?
I got nothing. Yeah, that was the first voice I thought.
Some guy from Beirut.
Well, I mean, it doesn't say he was originally from there. I mean, he could.
Yeah, he could. He could have been from New Jersey.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go cliff diving.
Hey, Tone.
Hey, Tone.
Everybody's got a friend named Tone in Jersey, right?
Wow, man.
Yeah. I know. Look, if we weren't pushing the envelope, we wouldn't have made it this far.
You had me. Can we go back to the McChicken stuff? I can go back to the pee poo poo.
All right. Well, you know what? Next week I will have something
gross. You're gonna have like some thing where like someone tells someone like, oh, they're eating dog food on a bet, but it's really just a loose bowel movement from a guy named Gary.
Sure. Why not?
Who has a tattoo that says no regrets on his bicep, and when you ask him about it, he slaps and he goes, man, it's no regrets, like when you do 2 chicks at once. And that guy has never been in the proximity of 2 unclothed vaginas at the same time.
Ever. Yeah. Ugh. Well, after that, I feel like we need to do a breath mint for real.
Yeah.
Starting to feel a little swampy.
Ooh.
So, Brian, what you been up to as far as breath minty type of stuff?
Keeping up with Succession.
Oh, yeah.
I think
final season, right? You're
final
caught
season,
up?
we finally caught up.
Okay.
Wow. It's interesting to see characters that I thought were wholly unlikable at the beginning of the series still be wholly unlikable, but in a way that is more empathetic about how the pursuit of power and the cycle of abuse within that pursuit of power gives you some very interesting blind spots for how you make your way through the world or choose to exist within it.
They're still terrible people, though.
They're still terrible people, but they're terrible people with real human problems. They're not. I'm not like humanized necessarily out of sympathy, but like some of those characters reminds me of people I've known in life who were of some means and were delusional or Damn, could you get a louder air conditioner? I'm trying to think here. God damn it. Ding ding, like fucking like Don Rickles and Dirty Work. Hello there, Mr. Ice Cream.
Sorry.
Doing well in there?
I'm sweating, so I wanted to.
Yeah,
turn
why
that
don't
down
you
a
fucking take off your 3 jackets there, you
It's my Steve Bannon look. I'm in my Steve Bannon era.
Steve Bannon era? What are you going to do? Join a monk fraternity in Eastern Italy where everyone talks about how good the Dreamcast was? The Steve Bannon of homebrewed Dreamcast games.
Oh man, when I had that Dreamcast, I was homebrewing all the time. Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
Dreamcast was kind of amazing. But yeah, so season 4 really strong, and
that's coming to an end real soon, isn't it?
yeah, I don't know how many episodes are left. We're the episode just aired was episode 6.
Mm-hmm.
So I expect it's like either a 9 or 10 episode season. I was reading that the rumors that the final episode is going to be like 90 minutes long. It's going to be like a fucking movie. So that's going to be interesting. But yeah, I've really enjoyed Succession for, I mean, honestly, how entertaining it is. Fucking Brian Cox is screaming, "Fuck off!"
Oh man, when that guy goes off, it's golden. I don't care what he's saying.
And like you start picking up how people manipulate each other, and like they have these tells, and like just very good character development. Jeremy Strong as Kendall is this guy you kind of, despite all of his huge fucking flaws and his just how terrible a person he is, you kind of want him to fucking get with it, because he gets really close to kind of almost getting out of the game or like figuring out where his place is, and then he just goes right back to it, and then you see him kind of almost willfully walk away from like happiness or getting away from his father or his family or these situations that he's in, and it's too alluring.
Well, he's definitely a magnetic actor, the guy who plays him. You can't keep your eyes off him. He's got one of those like really expressive faces, and he has this kind of pathos about him just by looking at him. Yeah,
it's pretty good. And then Sunday night we went out to the old Sinkhole.
Yeah,
it was an interesting evening because the first musician was a one-man band.
Oh no.
Which those are always interesting,
it's hit or miss.
Particularly if there's no instruments and there's just a laptop, because that really means that like whatever that person is doing, like there was never a space for anyone else. Like there's definitely like either this is too out there for other people to get with, wherever this musician is from or who their friend group or their peers are, or they're too much of a pain in the ass for other people to. I mean, that's why
to work with, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's why Super Fun Rocket Ship's apparently one person again. Well, I don't know that specifically, but I can't imagine that. Oh boy, I'm just making you uncomfortable.
No, it's fine. I went to college with Corey. He's a good dude, but yeah, he's a bit much. He's a bit much.
Boy, he had that opportunity to end Super Fun Rocket Ship, and everyone was so stoked that he was going to do something else, and then he's like, "But I'm just going to do Super Fun Rocket Ship with a guy playing guitar." And everyone's like, "You were so close, bro." I just remember when that happened. People are people were like screaming like "fuck" at the ground when they heard about it. They're like, "I thought he was going to do like a real thing, but he's going to keep doing songs about Spider-Man being a himbo."
Yeah, and I mean like it's when I don't know. I can't necessarily defend it because it's goofy as shit, but it's also like it's fine. He apparently is having a good time and enjoying himself.
I mean that part that's like I don't want him to not make music or not be creative.
Right.
It's just you've been doing this for like the better part of like 15 years, and like it would be really cool to see your creativity through a different lens. But I mean, St. Louis is also kind of a place where if it works, it works, and you're afraid to see what would happen if you did something else. Anyways,
well, I mean that's why Clownvis is still a thing.
I mean, hey man, don't talk shit about Clownvis.
I will not talk shit about Clownvis. Clownvis rules. I'm just saying, like he's been doing that a while too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Google Plexi. It's the same. Google Plexi is a one-man band.
Fucking God, there was Tori
Z Starbuck. I knew exactly what you were talking about. Yeah.
anyways, so the opener was this one man thing called Sweat FM.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to use the male pronouns here because I unfortunately haven't done the research because I'm like no fucking free time this week. But we'll just say male presenting in women's clothing, so there could be some liquidity there, and that's fine. And that's fine because that's okay, to quote Hakewood. This person started out the set wearing like a very tight, like black maxi dress, and we're doing like just like straight up like kind of pop punk songs by themselves. But like when there was like a bridge or something like that, they were just doing like jazzercise poses and like jumping around like a maniac. It was really fucking awesome.
Yeah,
I had a ton of fucking fun. And then at one point, they stripped down to like a white, like tiger print, like a bodysuit, like a bikini cut one.
Okay.
I was like, oh, okay. And you know they're doing their stuff. And one of the things I love is they use the fucking Law and Order theme music as the theme music for them to take like a water break. So everyone's like fucking like bobbing their head along to the music while they're drinking the water. I'm like, this is good. This is a great bit.
How many times during their set did they do that?
I think 2 or 3 times. And like at one point it lasted so long that there was a part of the song that was playing that I had never heard.
And when the guitar solo kicks in.
No, it was like there's like a third like motion to
Oh.
that song that I had never heard before, or at least never remembered hearing.
The extended 12-inch cut.
Yeah, this is the record store day release of the Law and Order theme.
I would get that. I don't even know records.
But at one point they took that off and they were just wearing like a teal banana hammock.
Okay.
And then put on a matching mesh top and bottom, like short shorts and like a very 1980s style like mesh like tank top. And I'm gonna say I have not seen someone fucking shake ass like that and fucking mesh probably since I saw Big Frida like 10 years ago.
I was about to say, yeah.
It was definitely an ass everywhere kind of thing.
Hell yeah.
And you know, so this is kind of funny but kind of oddly sincere because this person's really putting themselves out there. It's the fucking Midwest, and they're being a fucking weirdo in kind of the most beautiful way. And then Shinra Knives comes on, which is like a little bit more serious.
A little. It's also kind of funny. I mean, honestly,
it's a little funny.
Some of it, yeah.
It's a little funny. I mean, there's some humor to it, I suppose. But I mean, Ian did a whole entire record. Or released a whole entire record in 2001 called Grief, which is at least in part about his father's passing, and that's a little bit less forward than like the stuff he's released in like last year or two. But it was a great set, and St. Louis is a weird fucking town because like someone like Ian can, Shinra Knives can get written up by like the BBC and have all this really cool shit happen. But like outside of like the people that know, like they're in the know, that give a shit about or cognizant of what's going on in the local music scene, like no one outside of that. And I mean, like kind of Lumping the Dumpers had the same thing. Like Lumping the Dumpers fucking toured Australia like 2 or 3 times. Like we're a fucking Tosh.0.
Yeah,
like all of these things, but like outside of I think probably like 200 weirdos, no one here like knew or cared about them.
Right.
But they could go play Chicago or New York and probably like fucking sell out wherever they were.
Yeah, I mean that happened a lot in town with a lot of bands, and most of them wound up moving to fucking California. That's the real shame of it all. Is that they move out of state, and then like there was a band called Disturbing the Peace, which later became Adair, and they had that same thing where like they would go and they'd do these big shows and then nothing back at home. And so they went to LA, they changed their name, they put a record out and it flopped. And I don't know what those guys are doing now. So
I'm probably working the door at Flamingo Bowl or something. I mean, that's what some of the dudes from Story of the Year were doing.
Yeah.
Like, like 10 years ago, like I would see those dudes like working the door at a bar and I'd be like, this is really fucking weird.
Didn't you guys just tour Europe?
Yeah. I mean, or weren't you guys on fucking, anyways, but so it's like maybe I want to say, man, if it was 50 people at this show, that would be generous. But I mean, like those people, like
they're hardcore though, so they're
they were invested in Sweat FM, and they were definitely invested in Sharp Knives. I didn't stay for the third band because I'm a fucking tired little sickly baby. But
it was a Sunday night. It was a school night.
I gotta go fucking work and stare at the sun. Listen, it ain't sexy work, but it's honest.
That's true.
Staring at the sun, not blinking. Anyways, but it was really good, and it was the last Shimmer Knives performance for a while because Ian's apparently working on a new project, and my girlfriend's a really big fan, and she like lost her shit because he like played like at least one of her favorite tracks, and
sick.
It was really fucking. It was a good time. I just wish more people showed up, and St. Louis is kind of like that. I mean, I feel like Jumbling Towers was another band that kind of was victim to like putting out this really amazing music that was either like the wrong time or whatever, but like I still think their whole entire body of work is fantastic. But like those dudes now are like, like fucking district managers for like Marriott or something.
I've got a list as long as my arm of guys that happened to. Yeah, like the Blind Eyes or any one of those people. So yeah, like it's a tragedy, but I mean it does happen, and I really hope that is not the case for Shinra Knives because I do have some good vibes.
He's getting written up on fucking BBC, so I hope.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
But I mean, St. Louis is kind of a place where you live in obscurity but are known everywhere else. I mean, fucking Geezer Butler from fucking Black Sabbath, at least last time I heard, still lived in St. Louis or had a house here.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Lauren Jane Grace from Against Me moved here, did a record here, and every once in a while still just kind of comes back into town.
Yeah.
She loves it here. And
yeah, because I think she did a record with Drew Beeman.
Yep.
The Native Sound.
Yep.
Cool little room.
I'm very excited to hear it. So, breath mint for myself. I, against my better judgment, picked up a game called Forspoken. I don't know if you remember this game. It came out in like February of this year. It was a deal. There was some sale. I said, well, you know, let's see what this is about. And I'm pleased to say that people who were dogging on this game were mostly wrong. I'm quite
the haters were wrong.
The haters,
the hoes were mad. You're saying
the hoes were indeed mad because I think a lot of the hate for the game did come from one trailer, which featured really early game dialogue, which was really bad, and that dialogue is still in there, and the dialogue is still pretty bad.
Yeah.
But as you go through the story is basically that you're this. It's an isekai. You're a young woman who lived in New York, and through a magical portal, she comes to this fantasy world, and you're the savior of the fantasy world. Very common fantasy trope.
Yeah,
right. Very common.
Inspired.
Anime loves to do it. There's all sorts of fantasy books where this happens.
Only you can put the spork in the fucking monkey cheese and save the planet.
Right. So I mean, it's been done before. But what really gets me about the game is like, do you remember playing the game Prototype?
I rinsed it like once when I worked at Blockbuster.
Okay, so you remember how getting around the world was super easy because you could run up buildings.
Oh, you just go straight.
Yep. Well, a lot of Forspoken is like that. Once you get a certain number of traversal spells, you're running and jumping and doing these little hook grabs, and like it's a lot of fun kind of getting around the world.
Yeah.
The other one that it reminded me of was Insomniac's Infamous.
Okay.
Those games on the PS3. Or Insomniac's Marvel's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So those kind of fun traversal mechanics, and very much like Insomniac Spider-Man, there's little things to do all across the map, but they're not always consequential. So you can skip some of them. You can like, okay, I don't really need to go to this thing and get an archive update. I don't care about the archives.
Yeah, fuck that archive.
But if it's a stat upgrade or if it's a new piece of gear, I'll go like, okay, I'll go get that if it's on the way to something else. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of the open world problems that I usually have where shit's just everywhere and you kind of got to go out of your way and back and forth and all that is kind of alleviated if you stick to the main story path and, oh, there's a thing on the way. You can kind of go do it. Because I'm most of the way through the game right now. I'm only about 20 hours in, but I'm at chapter 11 out of 12. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm nearly finished with the game. Plenty powerful. And I haven't really completed most of the side activities. Just stuff that'll get me gear, XP or whatever.
Yeah.
Extra spells. Because the spells are kind of the most fun part about the game. So you have this magical bracelet that lets you do... At first, it's just ranged stuff, and then you can charge up, right? But then there's all these defensive ones, and then there's a tendril thing that gets your health back, and there's a huge variety of spells. Once you defeat certain enemies, you get their powers. So then there's...
Wait, this is a game where you're the modern day girl that gets put into... Yes. Okay,
yes.
I know what you're talking about.
Yes, it's...
people really had no problem opening up their asses over this game.
They dogpiled this game.
Yeah. And then you bought it. You bought the Stinky Poo Poo game.
Well, I had a similar experience with something just last month called Biomutant.
Yeah.
People shat all over that game, and I enjoyed Biomutant quite a bit. So I'm like, okay, maybe not all open world games are not for me. Because I remember saying when I was done with Cyberpunk that I was done with open world games for a while. And I did. I played Dark Souls 2 again. I did this and that. I said, okay, well, maybe it's time. Maybe it's time. And I think I made the right decision. I'm enjoying Forspoken. The early game characterization where it's very quippy. Did I just kill a freaking dragon with my mind?
Wow, man. So that just happened.
Yeah. So a lot of that gets tamped down towards the end. So it gets better, I guess is the way to say that. It gets better.
Wow, they can
fly now?
Yeah, fuck. God damn it. I hate that you knew exactly.
The J.J. Abramsification of games, yeah.
Oh, fucking kill me.
I know. So I'm enjoying it. PC gamers do have the option to play it. I've heard that it's pretty badly optimized on PC, so maybe wait for the Xbox.
This looks like we got a little bit of console supremacy here on this one.
I'm simply saying that I've heard, not that I know, because I only bought it on one system. I'm not buying it on two. But
so you want all the developers' kids to go hungry? I see.
Yeah, apparently I do.
Baby murderer.
And I bought it at a discount, so yeah. Hey, I got a free copy of Tales of Arise out of it too, so that's good. But Forspoken, enjoying that quite a bit, and then I'm reading the book They Knew, Sarah Kedziador.
Oh, wow.
St. Louis native.
Yeah, a real proponent of the Russiagate conspiracy to the point that I would say it discredits her quite a bit. But
yeah, you got to take a lot of what she says about Russia with a grain of salt. But at the same time, They Knew is definitely an entertaining read. It really pinpoints a lot of interesting things about St. Louis, and she goes into great detail about how the city is basically in a permanent state of being abandoned. So there's
I mean, like not to cut you off too much, but like something like when we went up to Milwaukee last month was like, oh, this is a city where like people tried, because like Milwaukee's like built out. And even like the rougher stuff has still got some bones to it. But St. Louis, like you go downtown and it looks abandoned.
Yeah.
And most neighborhoods don't look, even the fucking Grove where you can spend, $1,800 a month on a fucking 500-foot 1-bedroom apartment still kind of looks like dog shit.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's
just to clarify for people who don't live in the flyover states, that's a lot of money for a small ass apartment. That like if you live in like New York City, you would be like, oh yeah, I would kill for that. But like,
right.
But here, that is an exorbitant price.
Yeah, here we go. Are you fucking kidding me? Yeah, but it's an interesting book because it manages to synthesize. Like it draws a direct line from COINTELPRO, MK Ultra, Jeffrey Epstein, Donald Trump. Like it kind of is like there's through lines through all of it, and she's able to kind of give you
is the through line the Orange Man bad?
No. It's more about men in power with money are willing to allow egregious abuses because there's more money and power in it, and like. I definitely recommend it. It's a very slim volume, pretty short read. Very much like her book, The View from Flyover Country, which you briefly alluded to. They Knew. It's relatively new. I am enjoying that very much as a book. And let's see, what else? Oh, we are watching the television series Poker Face.
I'm not familiar.
Starring Natasha Lyonne.
Okay.
As a Columbo-type character who knows when someone isn't telling the truth. And so it starts out.
Oh, don't send her to Congress.
But it's a huge cast. There's some really amazing supporting, because it's a mystery of the week show as she's traveling cross country
Right.
to get away from this mob boss who wants her dead. There's cast members that she shared with, Orange is the New Black, which she was on for several years. But then there's also Adrian Brody shows up, and you got Lou Diamond Phillips and John Darnielle from the Mountain Goats and Chloe Sevigny, and like all these people showing up in these small supporting roles. Norm from Cheers, who's the guy, the actor's name I never remember, but I know him as Norm from Cheers. Just the minute I saw him. The woman who was in the menu.
Hey, you've got a poker face.
Well, how about that? The woman who was in the menu as the server, she's in that as a trucker. There's just so many great little cameos. I'm really enjoying that. John Darnielle from Mountain Goats was really fun because he plays the member of this metal band. And the bit is that every episode starts with a murder, and then it rewinds back like a day or two to when Charlie, the character that Natasha Lyonne plays, arrives on the scene. Well, the way they do it in this metal band episode is that you see the band going on tour and deciding they're going to kill their drummer. And then it rewinds back after they've killed him, and Natasha Lyonne has been there the whole time as their merch girl, who Chloe Sevigny apparently wrote a song about. Oh, it's great. It's really, it's funny. It's weird. It's Ryan Johnson, Ryan Johnson,
the head of the cabal of pedophiles that started the Camp Light fires in California in 2018.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
He manages to direct at least one or two episodes, so it's one of his babies.
In between abusing children.
Yes, yeah, allegedly.
Part of his QAnon conspiracy. Did I tell you about this?
I think so, but it always bears repeating. What is
it? In late 2018, I worked a terrible call center job for Panera. And fucking God, what a terrible fucking company to work for. Bureaucratic. I mean, I sometimes felt like I had to go have like if I need to go wipe my ass, do I need to reserve a meeting room and talk with my superior?
Can't get
approval.
approval.
Just like, oh, dude, just fucking miserable place to work. I could tell you some stories, but the one thing I remember was someone that was like a supervisor on a team emailing, like almost like basically company wide, that like, hey, if you get any weird phone calls about Rainn Wilson, there's this conspiracy theory was this thing called QAnon.
Oh wow!
And this is like the first time I like outside of like things I would see like on like roadside stands and like the fucking Boot Heel or something, like an abandoned Chinese restaurant. The first time I saw QAnon like outside of like the normal spots I was looking for or expecting to see it, and it was because Rainn Wilson had recently done like this campaign that was stupid.
Yeah.
Panera Bread had like this whole thing, at least here in St. Louis, about like how we have like a Panera in Clayton, which is a very rich part of town where you don't have to pay. So you purposely put it in a place that's kind of by its geography inaccessible to people who benefit from it the most.
Yep.
And then they closed it down because it wasn't like, I don't even think it wasn't because it wasn't profitable, but because it was no longer a good enough PR move. Working at Panera felt like working with a bunch of people that thought Elizabeth Warren was going to be president. Like just
blood and teeth people, yeah.
Yeah, what a fucking miserable company. I can't go on. But I just thought that was funny. I like just looked it up on my phone, and I guess Campfire was the Campfire fires, wildfires in California. That there was this conspiracy theory that Rainn Wilson was a part of it because of some like jokes he. It was like the same thing that got James Gunn, like making jokes about like, dead baby jokes, like
early days of Twitter where you felt like you could say anything, and these guys were really pushing it.
Yeah. And I think even the stuff Rainn Wilson said was really fucking like mild, even. Like I don't even think
I don't remember anything particularly egregious.
Yeah, I don't think it would have made a lot of because there was like one website that was like nothing but dead baby jokes. And I'm trying to remember what it was called, but like they had a section that was dead baby jokes, and it's like, what's 9.5 inches long and makes a woman scream all night?
Yeah, it's a dead baby.
Crib death.
Oh, wow.
Damn, dude.
Yeah.
Fucking boofing it.
I'm sorry I'm not up on my dead baby jokes, Brian.
Yeah, damn, dude. Were you not edgy enough in
I
school?
guess I wasn't.
So that's why Rainn Wilson's always this weird thing, was getting this email about how there was all these people on Twitter that were hurt. And they're like, yeah, like people in the call center were getting these harassing calls about Rainn Wilson. And I thought it was because he's painfully unfunny, but apparently it's because he's the high priest in the cabal of child rapists.
Sure.
Which
Allegedly.
I mean, no one knows for sure. I think the guy is just incredibly mid.
Yeah.
But he doesn't seem to have the pizzazz of a serial child rapist. Just doesn't.
He doesn't have that Epstein swagger, is what you're saying.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't.
Fly like Jeffrey, Like,
there's different types of scaring the hose.
yeah.
And Rainn Wilson is most certainly not doing it in the way that could be considered flattering.
A very different kind of scaring the hose. No, I got his pronunciation mixed up with Ryan Johnson, the guy who did Brick and Looper and the one Star Wars movie that everybody hates, and Knives Out, the 2 Knives Out movies. So yeah, building on his love for the whole Knives Out murder mystery thing, that was what he was going for with Poker Face. Was like, I want to make a Columbo type of character, and he got Joshua Leone to do it. It's funny, it's a good time. John Darnielle, the Mountain Goats, wrote 2 original songs for the show. One called "You Can't Unmurder Someone," which, and my favorite part of the
for a guy with a caved-in chest, he really has a way with words.
He really does. But he also is just like really solid as a performer, as an actor too. It's just
sure.
Like, I guess it's really not all that shocking. I mean, you write songs and you're performing every night as in a band,
and like most of his songs are kind of like written from the point of view of a character that doesn't feel like it's necessarily him.
Yeah, exactly. And there's even a song that he wrote for that one about like, you're not going to get that alimony, and then the bass player interrupts and goes, "So how's your divorce going?" He goes, "Not good." It's just fun. Definitely recommend Poker Face. Speaking of Rainn Wilson, though, I did see a movie with him in it recently. It was a kind of came and went. Elijah Wood's in it. Allison Pill. It's called Cooties. It's a zombie movie that takes place in an elementary school. I see by Brian's puzzled expression that he has not heard of this.
Yeah, I feel like as someone, I'm not gonna pretend I'm the world's biggest like horror movie aficionado, but it is like the one genre of film that like me and my girlfriend I think overlap the most on. Mm-hmm. And I do enjoy a good horror film. It's
more of a comedy. They definitely play it for comedy, but it is.
Oh well, then fuck that.
No, because it's one of 2 zombie comedies that take place with grade schoolers. The other one has Josh Gad in it. It's called Little Monsters.
Oh yeah.
So it was one of those things that happens sometimes. Like there'd be 2 movies with the same idea that come out around the same time.
Sure.
And Little Monsters got a lot more of the attention. I still think Cooties is the better movie. Watched it again recently. I was like, yeah, this is pretty goddamn funny.
Oh, Allison Pill and her fat tits, of course.
Well, they are barely in it.
Wow. You're really selling this movie for me.
I know. But Elijah Wood as a comedic actor, I always love to see it, from his time in Wilfred and all that stuff.
Sure.
He's definitely got something, and it's there. And Rainn Wilson in that plays plays like the gym teacher who's completely oblivious of everything until like the last second. He's out there shooting baskets. All the kids are literally tearing each other apart during recess, and he's out there just pissed that he can't make this 3 that he keeps trying to throw. That's a good metaphor, yeah. Yeah, it's a good time. I think Hulu had it. I don't know who has it now, but yeah, that was one of their weird things because they had both. They had Little Monsters and Cooties at the same time. kind of a weird thing that sometimes happens, because I'm trying to think about the last one that really happened with that was probably like, well, I guess really the Menu and Triangle of Sadness, because they definitely felt very similar in theme, at least.
Yeah, like Fuck the Rich, and
yeah,
I think both those movies. I think The Menu I really enjoyed because it was exciting in the way that like I feel like the first time I watched like a good indie or foreign film.
it was also
felt.
funny.
Yeah, really fucking funny. Triangle of Sadness, while I really enjoyed like the last third, while it has some good spots, the last third really feels like it's weird to talk about like a Western film like this, but it feels like fan service.
Fan service.
And that like, oh, what rich people are getting, terrible things are happening. Don't you want to eat the rich?
Wish fulfillment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I was trying to like fan service. I'll be showing upskirts of so and so, but no, yeah, you're right. It's the wish fulfillment bit, yes. Which is, I mean,
And,
I
like,
always like it.
You saw Triangle of Sadness, right? Because wasn't
Yeah.
they did like the fucking Refuse song?
I know.
God damn it!
That was a bit much, but you know, I like
I
to see
wish-
them
I
getting
wish-
money, which is always good.
I wish that Refuse had done a fucking KLF and just completely removed their catalog from.
Yeah.
Like that would have been way more fucking punk rock than like realizing that your all your side projects suck, and that you're like, well, this is the thing that makes money.
This coming from an International Noise Conspiracy fan, which I think is...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, very big International Noise Conspiracy fan. I also understand what kind of sucks and is lame about International Noise Conspiracy, despite it being one of my favorite bands when I was a teenager, and I still think Reproduction of Death is a top-tier record. The shit they did with Rick Rubin sucks.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
The thing people don't realize about Rick Rubin is that for like every Slayer or Beastie Boys or like Johnny Cash record he did that whipped ass, there's like 30 records he produced that are not good.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like Bob Rock. You don't hear about the good ones. You don't hear about the bad ones.
You don't really hear about the good ones either, if we're going to be honest here.
Well, a couple of Metallica records that made the cut. Yeah.
Records, yeah. Dun, dun, dun,
Well, on that note, I think it's about time to wrap this bad boy up, Brian. Let's talk about something a little bit more lighthearted. How about where to find you on the old internet?
The old internet. Well, if you want to send me death threats or foes of Goatsy, or ask me if the guy that busts his head open on the edge of that dealie that he was it a crate or was it a ledge? The
There was
ledge
some
of
ledge
ledge
on
of that river, the river ledge, and looked like a demigorgon.
Ooh.
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at iShotGuydebord. That's ISHOTGUYDBORD. If you want to check out my photography portfolio, it's assholemusicphotographer.com. And if you want to check out my photos and words, it's amusicphotographer.com. Guess what, Jason?
Covet's up there.
The Covet I fucking shit that out. I don't even know if it's good.
I took a look at the photos. I didn't get a chance to read the whole thing, so I can't tell you for sure, but I'm glad it's up there. I'm glad you got that taken care of. Yeah,
this thing that I was like, oh, I'm going to get this done so quick.
Yeah.
And then I had a terrible fucking long COVID migraine. It was bedridden after work. And then my computer died. And then through a bunch of Sisyphusian tasks, I finally got fixed like 2 weeks later.
The trials of fucking Hercules, yeah.
Yeah, fuck me. Anyways, that's where you can find me. Jason, where can they harass you?
Oh, you can harass me at Videocrime, VIDEOCRIME. Most social medias, with the exception of Instagram and TikTok, that is at LaserGooseCEO. You can give the show a call, 314-AHOY POO. That's 314-246-9766. Shoot us an email, Jason at 48minutesofdogsbarking.com or Brian at 48minutesofdogsbarking.com.
Send me gross photos.
Please do. And you can support the show if you feel so inclined. Patreon.com/48minutesofdogs. Well, we're gonna leave you a little something that I rediscovered this week, and I for the longest time I thought this was a Motorhead song, but
oh jeez.
Seriously, I did. I thought it was a Motorhead song just because the way that that Gene does the vocals. It's the Ween classic It's going to be a long night.
Oh, nice.
And as we always say at this time, namaste. Good luck. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.